Hello everybody, my name is Iceberg Lettuce, and today we are here in Minecraft Snapshot 20W49A, where they have added the very first cave biome as well as the Sculk Sensors. So today we're going to be taking a look at everything that has been changed and added, check out how all these new things work, and also I changed my skin for the holidays. I'm wearing a sweater now. Anyway, let's get to the actual stuff you came here to see. So the very first thing we're going to be talking about is our first look at what cave biomes are going to look like. So this is not officially implemented yet. Basically, Dripstone caves are only accessible through the World Create screen. You can create a world with only the Dripstone caves biome, and all that is an infinite plains in all directions. But if we go underground, you can see that in certain places, the caves have been upgraded to include dripstone blocks, small water pools, and stalactites and stalagmites. So this is not what it will actually look like once cave biomes officially get added in. First of all, the above ground will obviously have different biomes, but also the cave generation will be changed. At the moment, it's still using the old cave generation with the windy caves and ravines, and that's about it. But once these are officially added, we'll be able to see what these will look like with the big open caves and stuff that they showed off at Minecon. But for now, this is a pretty interesting look at what cave biomes might end up looking like. Alright, so next up we've got the Sculk Sensor. So this is a new redstone component that basically picks up on any sort of movement around it. So if we walk, you'll see it will activate and it will light up this redstone lamp over here. In addition, we can use something like a trapdoor. You can actually sneak to stop it from picking up on certain movements that you make, such as jumping and walking. Also, you can use wool to stop it from picking up on signals. So this one here you can see is surrounded by wool, and it will not activate anything because the wool is in the way of all of this movement. So that's all stuff we already knew from Minecon, but let's take a look at some more interesting stuff. So first up, signals are sent at 1 game tick per block. Sensors will not pick up a signal if a signal is already traveling toward it, or if the sensor is already activated, and when activated, the sensor will remain active for 40 ticks or about 2 seconds. So let's take a look at what that means in the real world. So you can see if I throw a snowball in the middle of a field of Sculk sensors, they don't all activate at once. It actually takes a second for the signal to travel to the further away Sculk sensors, and so that means that they will activate a little bit later. In addition, I can throw as many snowballs at this as I want, but as long as these are active or receiving a signal, they won't activate a second time. A couple of other interesting things about Sculk sensors over here. They can be waterlogged, and as far as I'm aware, this doesn't actually change their functionality. They still seem to activate normally. And in addition, their default tool is actually the hoe, weirdly enough. The Sculk sensor also has a little bit of cooldown after it fires, so basically that stops it from accidentally getting activated a second time, for example when that trapdoor closes or when something stops being powered by it. So this is what the range of the Sculk sensor looks like. It has a radius of 8 blocks. The shape looks a little bit funky, but it's about a circle with a radius of 8 blocks. The Sculk sensor also has different power levels based on how close it is to the source of a noise. So if we activate this trapdoor over here, which is pretty close to it, you can see that it emits a stronger signal than when we activate this one, which is further away. So the last thing with Sculk sensors, and I think the most interesting thing, is their interactivity with comparators. So if we walk here for a second, you can see the comparator emits a very weak signal strength, but if I do something like interact with this trapdoor, you can see it will emit a much stronger signal strength. And there's actually a huge list of different events that cause different signal strengths. So a signal strength of 1, you need to walk, 2, you need to flap, and I have no idea what that's supposed to mean, 3, you need to swim, 4, elytra freefall, 5, hit the ground, 6, splash or wolf shaking, 7, projectile shooting or starting eating, 8, projectile landing or finish eating, 9, hitting an entity or adding an item to an armor stand, 10, closing a block, unswitching a block, unpressing a block, detaching a block, closing a container or a failing dispenser, 11, open a block, switching a block, pressing a block, attaching a block or opening a container, 12, using a flint and steel, placing a block or placing a fluid, 13, destroying a block or picking up a fluid, 14, reeling in a fishing rod or contracting a piston, and 15, casting a fishing rod, extending a piston, an explosion, or a lightning strike. So the reason this is so useful is because it basically allows us to talk to a Sculk sensor from far away. So basically I have a little setup here using a comparator and a redstone block, which means that this will only turn on if this emits a signal strength of 15. And if you remember, that will only happen if we cast a fishing rod, extend a piston, there's an explosion, or a lightning strike. So here I have a piston, and you can see this will only activate when I activate this piston, not when I deactivate it, or not when I walk near it, or anything like that. This redstone will only turn on when I activate this piston. And this is really useful because it basically will allow us to make wireless redstone contraptions that won't just go off all the time when you walk near them. So there's also been a couple of more technical things added. So there's a new block tag called occludes vibration signals, which is currently only applied to the wool block, but you can also apply this to other things using data packs, and that does exactly what it sounds like. It stops Sculk Sensors from receiving signals. There's also been an entire new system added called the Game Events system, which includes things like Minecraft Step, Swim, and Explode, and that sort of thing. So it's basically a new system to categorize different events that activate Sculk Sensors. And this comes with two new tags called Vibrations and Ignore Vibrations Stepping Carefully. So the Vibrations tag is applied to any game event that will activate a Sculk Sensor, and this Ignore Vibrations tag is applied to anything that will not activate a Sculk Sensor if the player doing it is sneaking. And lastly, over here, a change to the Dripstone, pointed Dripstone from the last snapshot, is that it will no longer overlap with other blocks. In the previous snapshot, there was kind of an issue where Dripstone would sometimes overlap with another block, and that has been fixed, so you can see none of this Dripstone is overlapping with the blocks near it. So that is just about everything there is to talk about in this snapshot. I hope you all enjoyed watching, and see you next time, everybody. Bye!